Hello everybody, my name is Kylon3639. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one it's going to be another top 5 video, and in this one it's going to be the top 5 cards that should not be on the limited list. Now, I already done a top 5 saying what cards that should not be on the forbidden list, and I'll be in the link in the description down below. But this one is going to be all about the cards on the limited list. Yes, there's a lot of cards on the limited list that I think can actually come off the limited list and have no effect whatsoever. And my apologies, it is a little windy outside today, so if you do hear some wind, that's probably what it's going to be. I have my window closed and everything, but that's just how it's going to be today. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the top 5. Now, before we go into the top 5, I do got some honorable mentions, starting off with Speedroid Terratop. Now, I think this can probably come back to semi-limited and not just limited where it's currently at. Now, the only problem with this, so if you don't know what Speedroid Terratop's effect is if you control no monsters, you can special summon Terratop, and then Terratop's effect is when it's normal, or special summon, you can add one Terratop, or one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. So now, this is the reason why I got limited is because of thanks to Tier 0 Zodiac reasons. So basically this was a play, so they would go into Terratop, add Takatombor, go into a rank 3 into MX Saber Invoker, and then add themselves a Wing Beast monster and just keep setting up plays into Zodiacs. So basically, yeah, this was just a really good way to get into the rank 3 engine, and that's why it got limited to 1 instead. So, and it stayed there for a while now, and now I think it can actually come to semi-limited. I think unlimited might be a little too much, but I think semi-limited might be okay to come off, especially now there is a couple rank 3 monsters. You could argue, say that Speedroid Terratop would be a little too good to bring out. Something like the Phantom Knights rank 3 or the Virtual Worlds can bring out their rank 3s pretty well, but Virtual Worlds now with no longer Calamities is no longer a tier 1 deck. But I think Speedroid can come to semi-limited, but then again, you can argue for it to stay on the limited list. That's why I have it in the honorable mention. The next thing on the honorable mention list is Called by the Grave, and oh boy, why is this on the limited list? Especially with the hand traps. Today, I think Called by the Grave should be back at 3, so decks have a way to counteract hand traps. Because for some decks, a single hand trap can completely end their turn, something like Droll and Lockbird for Drytrons or something like that. So Called by the Grave could be useful, and now there's even like the really good hand traps like Nibiru and Gamma can't even Called by the Grave can't even stop those ones. I just don't know why this is limited to 1 right now. I think it should be perfectly fine to 3. Now it's on the honorable mentions because I really do want this to be off the limited list. But the reason why it's on the honorable mention is because it was recently put on the limited list, and there's a good chance it's probably going to be taken off the limited list in the near future because, again, everyone's been begging for Called by the Grave to be coming off the limited list. But yeah, that's just an honorable mention. Now let's actually get into the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Infernity Archfiend. Now, this is actually Reddit hit. A lot of people on Reddit's been saying to bring back Archfiend to 3 as long as you keep Infernity Launcher to 1, which kind of makes sense. It seems like Launcher is a really big problem. They back in 2015, this used to be a really good deck because, you know, they weren't either Archfiend and Launcher were not once per turns. So basically, they would just spam out spam out the monsters, so they both got limited to 1. Now, I think Archfiend can come back to 1 as long as you keep Launcher on the limited list. I think Archfiend can come back to 3 without a problem. It would be a nice, good support card for the Infernities that actually got recent support in Blazing Vortex, I think. It's either Blazing Vortex or Phantom Rage. I forget which one they got the new support in. So that would actually be very nice for Infernities to get Archfiend back. Yes, keep Launcher to 1, because dear God, they don't need 3 of that. But I think Archfiend can come back to 3, as long as you keep Launcher to 1. It will support the new support cards that came out. I think it is Phantom Rage, but I could be wrong. It might have been Blazing Vortex. But yeah, that would be really good support for them. So I think number 5, that's where I have Infernity Archfiend. Coming in at number 4 is Gold Sarcophagus. Now, this might be a little tempting, especially to players who've been playing in the past 2 years, because they immediately think Thunder Dragons is the reason why this card got limited in the first place because those banished the Thunder Dragon. Thunder Dragon gave him an advantage, and that's why it was limited. It might have been limited before, but that's a huge reason why it stayed on the limited list for a while now. Now I think it can actually come off maybe into a semi-limited role or even a unlimited role because Thunder Dragons aren't that good anymore. With Thunder Dragon Colossus now on the ban list, I think Gold Sarcophagus is okay to come back to 3 because Colossus is now banned. Yes, the Thunder Dragons would gain really good support with Gold Sarcophagus, but I think it's okay to come back to 3 now because Thunder Dragons have had its time and now it's over. Now we have a way different meta than what Thunder Dragons were used to do. So I think it can come off the limited list now. So that's why I have it at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Daigustal Emerald. Now this is on the limited list because of World Legacy FTK reasons and also Zodiac Tier 0 reasons as well. So that's why it's currently limited to 1 right now. I think this can actually come back to 3. Again, the World Legacy FTK would be somewhat a thing with Daigustal Emerald at 3, but I think it would be just way too inconsistent for it to actually go into effect. Same thing with the Zodiacs. Rapierre is now limited to 1, so there's no reason to really worry about Daigustal Emerald anymore. So because Rapierre is limited to 1. So I do have this at number 3. Again, this was just used because it was able to shuffle things back into the deck, draw 1 card, or do FTK things. But I think this can easily come back to 3. It's not even getting used at 1, so I don't think it'd be used at 3 whatsoever. And that's kind of the thing with the limited list. If it's not getting used at 1, and it's not something called Rapierre, I think it could come back to 3. Same thing with, like, Rusty Bardiche. It was at 1, but even at 3 now, because of the recent ban list, Rusty Bardiche is at 3 now. Phantom Knight players are still only thinking of playing 1 Rusty Bardiche because, again, extra deck space is kind of limited, and you only really need 1 Rusty Bardiche. Same thing applies with Daigustal Emerald. You only really need 1 Daigustal Emerald if you're playing it in your extra deck anyway. So yeah, this is why I do have it at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Magical Explosion. Again, another card that's limited because of FTK reasons. So so basically, if you don't know the effect is activate while you have no cards in your hand. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each spell card in your graveyard. Now, this used to be an FTK because if you activate multiple at the same time. So let's say if you have 3 of this, the most spells you need to have in your hand, so it's 8,000 life points. Divide that by 3, it's 2,500? No. 2,600 life points. So you would need to have 13 spells in your graveyard and then 3 magical explosions set to kind of make it an FTK. I think that's correct. 26, 52... No, 26... 27. Let's make it 27. So yeah, you need like 14 hand spells in the graveyard for this to actually work as an FTK, and you do also need 3 for it to work. Now, I think this can actually come off the ban or the limited list because I think that FTK is just a little too inconsistent. Again, you need to get 14 spells in your graveyard plus 3 magical explosions set on your first turn to actually for this to work. So yeah, I think this can actually come off the limited list and would not have a problem whatsoever in today's game. Because again, you do need to get, yes, you can get like 5 or 6 spells in the graveyard in today's metagame, but 14 plus 3 set magical explosions is really hard to do. So that's why I do have this at number 2. And coming in at number 1 is Night Assailant. Night Assailant is currently on the limited list, not because it's a flip effect. It's because if it's sent to the hand, sent from the hand to the graveyard, target 1 flip effect monster in your graveyard, except this card, return it to your hand. So this is on the limited list because this used to be able to recycle itself. So if you discarded Night Assailant and you had another copy of Night Assailant in the graveyard, you can just add that other Night Assailant back to your hand and kind of create an infinite loop if you tried it for discard cost or anything like that. First things first, you would have to play an unplayable card in Night Assailant to actually, get that to resolve. And you need a copy in your hand and a copy in your graveyard. And the copy in your graveyard is not that hard to do, but a copy in your hand is very hard to do. And get that, basically to get that loop going, and its top effect is flip. It's a flip effect. Flip effects are no longer good. Then again, it's not on the limited list because of its flip effect. It's on the limited list because of its discard effect. So yeah, I think this can honestly just come back without a doubt. Again, it's there because of that infinite loop between your discards, but again, I think who the fuck's going to play a really shitty card in Night Assailant just so they can get that discard loop going. I don't think anyone's going to do that, especially in the current tier 1s and tier 2 decks. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think Night Assailant can come off the limited list no problem, without a doubt. So yeah, that is my top 5 list of cards that should not be on the limited list. If you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. I do upload every Monday through Friday with a stream on Saturday. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.